Hey, how you doing? I'm gonna sit here. It's a little more light. Excuse my air conditioner. When we bought this house, it didn't have central air. It has like these little window units here and there. It's like an old house. It's almost 100 years old. Um, so what am I gonna say today? You should manifest the way that works for you. Not, when I offer various things to try, basically you should be, if you're new to this or you don't have much experience, you're hit with all these different ways that people talk about manifesting, whether it's the Neville Goddard SATS, state akin to sleep, the very relaxed just before bed way of visualizing, or perhaps you know uh, affirmations, or the asking method of affirmations where you form it as a question rather than a statement, or certain other things. You um, So there may be little pauses in this video, and then I come back and have to remember my train of thought. Um, so no matter what method you're confronted with, you see online, you shouldn't look at any one of them as, you know, people talk about techniques. There really are no techniques. There's just different ways, right? And different things work better for different people. Everybody's different. So while one person may swear by the SATS before sleep, method, uh, that may not work for some people, right? That's not my preferred way to manifest things because I get so relaxed and I like to sleep at night. When I lie down to go to sleep for the night, I find it very hard to stay. I drift off so quickly that, I feel like I used to get frustrated by that because I'd say, how am I going to ever manifest anything, deliberately when I can't even stay awake long enough to visualize whatever I'm after, right? But as it turns out, there's other ways to, cats running around my feet. There's different ways to do things. Like you could impress your subconscious any time of the day. It doesn't have to be before sleep. That just works really well for some people because they're very relaxed, and it's like an easy way for that gateway to open. But you can anytime, you can be completely awake and be doing affirmations or any of these things. Asking. Sometimes people do it in the form of a question, some in the form of a statement. you know I'm so, my bills are paid off, or why are my bills constantly paid off effortlessly, these type of things. So, but you could do that completely awake, right? Or you could even take some time to daydream if you have the time during the day. If you're sitting at a desk in an office, it might be hard unless you can do it with your eyes open so that you don't look like you're sleeping at your desk. Maybe on like a lunch hour or something like that. Maybe you could take a walk. Maybe there's a park or a bench nearby, and you can sit out there and just zone out for a few minutes and let your imagination work. You don't have to be just before bed. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is these various ways of doing it. Um, Different things work for different people. Some people swear by this, some people swear by that. Don't take it as you have to do it this way because it works great for one person. That's like a trap a lot of people fall into when they watch a lot of this YouTube content. They sit there, and you see a lot of these clickbait titles and things like that on a lot of these videos. You see some of these gurus, you know, some of them they actually aggravate me, even some of the ones I like, because they I'm gravitating in my own YouTube consumption. When I watch people, I'm gravitating towards real people like myself who sit here and tell you as it is, rather than these snazzy, uh, smooth looking. They put together this production and they've got. I mean, I've done the thumbnails that try to get attention, but I try. I'm not really a clickbaity type of person. But you see these ones where they're appearing in robes like Jedi, and now every other day it's a new do this and this will happen. Do that. Enough of that. That's what just turns me off. And because I find it very disingenuous to some of these people. They're just some of them. I just really think they're in it just for the YouTube thing. And if it works for them and they're getting that YouTube money, more power to them for them. But I don't think they're necessarily doing other people any favors. Okay. I'm not in this YouTube thing to make money. If I ever get to the point where it monetizes, great. But it's not my main goal. It's just going to happen organically or not. And if whatever happens, happens. Okay. Because I get my income through other sources. Okay. Through multiple other sources. This isn't my main motivation here is not to make YouTube money. Okay. Like I said, if anything like that happens organically, great. But I'm not putting this thing together in order to sell you anything. I may have affiliate links on certain things here and there, but this is just minor stuff. It's not my main goal. I'm not, so I actually enjoy a lot of content creators who are just, real. They just tell it as it is. Some of them are monetized, some aren't. But my whole point here is that this whole chasing of techniques. Oh, this is going to work. This is going to work. And it's in other places. It's called the shiny ball syndrome. Ooh, it's another shiny thing. Ooh, that's shiny. That's shiny. That's sparkling. I'm gonna follow that. And before you know it, your attention is going so many different places that you've completely lost focus. And good luck trying to manifest when you can't even focus because you're constantly, feeling that. Eventually it becomes a downward spiral. Don't go there because you don't want to. Just you can experiment with these various different ways of doing things, of doing it, and then eventually settle. Do it in a relaxed way, and eventually settle on something that works for you. Um, and don't stress yourself out over it. Getting all stressed out is not the way to go either. You need to be relaxed and the low blood pressure way, and that's really it. So whether you know so if you're new to it, if you've already found your groove, then that's great. But if you haven't and you're still shopping around for whatever works best for you, try the various different things. Don't try them just once. Give it a good, the old college try. Uh, SATS, okay, it may click right away for you. Oops, SATS, you know, certain multiple ways of doing it may uh, give you great results. Maybe you get bored doing it one way for a while, then you want to shift over to this other way, or maybe you just feel that a variety of things. I always find a variety. I mean, I still occasionally, before bed will drift off and do the SATS thing, but I don't feel like I don't rely on that. I don't rely on that. I don't believe in, the old thing of the old cliche, all your eggs in one basket. I mean, I like a mix. If you're talking to yourself all the time, right? This is the way your mind works. You're always speaking to yourself silently in your mind. You're carrying on this monologue all the time. That's just the way. Don't try to deny it because it's like that with everybody. You used to think if you see someone actually answering themselves and talking to themselves, they were crazy, but everybody does it silently in their head. You are your own best friend, right? So make that a constructive conversation. And it's okay to say it out loud, I guess, when you're alone, right? If you're alone and you're in your house or whatever, nobody's there, you could talk to yourself. I'm not going to talk to myself openly when, my wife and kid are around because they're going to be like, what the heck are you, you know? But when I'm silently to myself, little whispers and things, sometimes I find the vocalizing actually uh, for me, cements things a little more, makes it a little more real. But, I do a fair amount in my head as well. Make those conversations, those mental conversations positive, right? That's part of the. It's like affirmations, right? When you're speaking to yourself, speak those positive things, carrying on in your head. That's all part of this. So you do a mix, SATS before bed, affirmations, askformations. That's what they call it when you do it in the form of a question. Um, Positive, self-talk, the whole positive mental diet, all of this stuff, all of these things together. Just consider it like a toolbox. It's a toolbox of your manifestation toolbox, and you use you switch around so you don't get you might get bored doing it only one way. So anyway, I hope this helps. I hope that you don't stress yourself out with these things because and certain things will happen in their own good time. Um, like I said, with my job, it took I'm in a thing where there's collective bargaining. I'm in kind of like a union. It's weird. It's a white collar union. There's almost none of this out there. And when I got laid off last time, which I've spoken about in some of my earlier videos, and I kind of manifested um, not just being employed again, but I was so fed up with the corporate being laid off deal, right? On a whim, the company or whoever wants to save money or make the stock price go up or whatever. Before you know it, they're cutting jobs left and right. A little economic downturn, they're cutting jobs, and then there you go. I'm so sick of that. I ended up manifesting a thing where I'm protected in a lot of ways by collective bargaining and uh, having a title and all of this stuff, more of a public thing. And then not only that, but then the collective bargaining kicks in when you're not even thinking about it. And before you know it, there's like a big raise. It's like, wow, big raise, multiple years. And then there's something else, which I'll mention when the time comes, um, that's in the works. So you can you can manifest uh, good things for yourself financially, and sometimes they literally, as Neville says, come out of the nowhere. You've manifested, but you kind of let it go, but you got to be patient as well. I mean, the things I'm talking about here didn't happen overnight. Sometimes it was a year in the making, or multiple years in the making, or the big picture, a decade in the making, you know. But when you look at where you were when you started the process compared to where you are now, the gap is unbelievable, right? So we're used to getting things rapidly now. We're used to the internet. We're used to instant gratification, and that can work against you because it makes a lot of people very impatient. How come, I didn't manifest this overnight? Well, because, I don't, you theoretically can, but it doesn't always, right? So all in good time, all in its own time, as Neville said, He talked about the pregnancy of various animals, how the terms are different. A human is 9 months, an elephant might be what, like a year or something. Some other animal might be 3 months. So it's all in its good time, just like growing a tree from a seed. And sometimes you have to wait till that. You may forget what seed you planted. You may forget what seed you planted, and you don't know until the harvest. You don't know until it comes out, and then you're just like, oh, that's what it was. Uh, a lot of wisdom in what Neville said. Go back and watch my Neville lectures. I've got them all. I've got a playlist of Neville stuff. Go back and watch that stuff. And watch my mind movies too. I didn't create this stuff for my health. Go back and watch them. Get relaxed. Use the mind movies to get relaxed. I've got a little playlist for that as well. Look around my channel. I'll try to eventually put, sometimes I put these little pop-ups that come up that direct you towards those resources. So anyway, it was like a quick recap, and I just felt motivated to kind of like get some people back on track. I feel like some people may need to see that. And that's about it. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and recommend me to other people. Thank you.